Tonight on the Black Channel. Well, don't look now, but a bunch of people out there trying to figure out when they can get their black cards back. But don't be fooled. It's only when it's convenient. The Black Channel is live. Unapologetic, unadulterated, and absolutely uncompromising. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world, and welcome back to the home, the haven, the stronghold, the everlasting superfortress of intelligent black thought. We are the Black Media, and this is the Black Channel. And I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the voice of Black America, the Black Authority, broadcasting to you live from the only historically black college and university of higher education and learning in the cosmos. You are, of course, welcome to join us. And join us you shall, because on tonight's program here, a lot of folks have been asking questions here, wondering what's going on. There's a lot happening right now. I mean, we got fires in the West. We got snowstorms in the East. We got all kinds of things going on here right now. And folks are asking about, the wildfires in California. We talked about that a little bit last night. Like I say, there's a whole lot going on there. I haven't had too much to say about that because I'm monitoring the political fallout from it. You're always having disasters. You're always having things going on. The real thing is, okay, what does this mean? And I've already told you. I told you before the election that Gavin Newsom was done because of what he did about reparations in California. I told you he was done right then. The wildfires happening, this man, if there were a prayer, if there were a Ouija board that would help him to resurrect his political fortunes, him and Karen Bass are watching them literally go up in smoke as we speak. They're both watching as their political futures are both literally burning to ashes as we talk. They're done. He is going to be known for this and this only. I don't live in California. Most of you don't live in California, but all of you have gotten an earful of the name Gavin Newsom in the last week. And that's it. That's it. So this is what he's known for. Yeah, you're done. You're toast. You're done. It was already a horrifically uphill climb before. Now this is what you're known for. Please, any Democrats he wants to challenge, all the other Democrats who want to run, they're going to be beating him to death over this. So he's done there. He's done there, but you got to understand when White Daddy is in trouble, there are some folks who think it's necessary to tell the truth, and then there are others that show their true colors. They get to buck dancing, and boy, the buck dancing Olympics, they're not going to have enough seats to sit them all down with here now. They're not going to have enough seats. Let's start with this. Stephen A. Smith was talking to Kevin Frazier. I think he was a host on Entertainment Tonight, one of their designated pet Negroes. He's one of them dudes. Well, Stephen A. Smith spoke to him about the situation there in California with the wildfires and whatnot. And first, I'm going to start off with this first sound clip here. By the way, fair use, Stephen. Fair use. I know you're going to be very, very angry about that, but by the way, fair use. Before you even get started, hate all you want. Now, these are the comments. This dovetails off of something. You all have heard about the woman that we talked about last night, and she ran up on Gavin Newsom, and he said that he was talking on the phone to the president. It's very interesting because listen to what Kevin Frazier here had to say.
I saw him. I ran into him and ran out and jumped out of the car to talk to him. And he said, I can't talk. I'm on the phone with the president. And I understand that. But they have to fix this situation.
Interesting. Isn't that interesting? Well, he says that he saw Gavin Newsom.
How can we help? I saw Gavin Newsom yesterday. I saw him. I ran into him and ran out and jumped out of the car to talk to him. And he said, I can't talk. I'm on the phone with the president. And
So either Kevin is ripping off that woman's story, or Kevin ran into Newsom, and this is what just Newsom is telling anybody who happens to stumble and get close to him, this is what he's telling them. So it's one or the other. Either Kevin Frazier is ripping off that woman's story, or Gavin Newsom is just telling everybody, I can't talk right now. I'm on the phone with the president as we speak. You know, as if Joe Biden is sitting there directing, fire planes and whatnot, as if that's what's going on, as if that's what's happening. And it would have been enough if Kevin Frazier had just stopped there. Would have been enough if he had stopped there, but he didn't. He goes on and says something else. And by the way, this is why I sit through the torment of watching these things so that you all don't have to. Stephen A. Smith starts regaling about Donald Trump, and listen to what Kevin Frazier says.
An elect. And the things he remembers that Gavin Newsom said about him, the things he pointed out about the state that Gavin Newsom wouldn't listen to. And as a result, he's in this kind of quandary, this quagmire. What do you think is going to happen to the state of California based on those facts that I just gave you?
Well, Stephen, if all of those, if Donald Trump really imposes his immigration initiatives, if he starts to round up people, there's going to be no one here to really help to rebuild this city.
Fair.
Because understand that the Latino population, because we are in Mexico, yes, basically, the Latino population fuels this city. And don't get it twisted. Mm-hmm. And so that's a problem.
What? Nigga, what?
Nigga, please.
Yeah, you heard it with your own ears. You seen it with your own eyes. You heard it with your own ears. Not sure where his people from, but you heard that with your own ears. By the way, I'm wondering who he's sleeping next to. Might be a good little piece of homework right there. Wondering who he's sleeping next to, where he from and who he with. Those are the two questions right there. When they start talking like this, okay, where you from and who you with. For you to sit up here and I'm talking about coon out that big is okay. Where y'all from and who you with? Where you from and who you with? So this is what it takes to get a job on Entertainment Tonight. This is what it takes to do that. This is what it takes to do that. So if y'all want to know what it takes, what the corporations are looking for, this is what the corporations filter for. So that's it right there. So Kevin Frazier talking to Stephen A. Smith, and it would be bad enough. Let me tell y'all, it would be bad enough if it just stopped there. It'd be bad enough if it just stopped at him talking to Stephen A. Smith or whatever. But no, we need to go ahead and take a look at Stephen A. Smith while we're at it here, because Stephen A. Smith was on the Rubin Report. He was on the Rubin Report. So you all know that Rubin guy is a verified white supremacist. He's always doing that kind of stuff there. For a while, they pretend to be liberals, and they're really not. You find out it's just liberal conservative. They're still white supremacists. So liberal white supremacy is no better than conservative white supremacy. Or moderate white supremacy is just all white supremacists there. So when you come around them, that's what it's got to be, and that's what they're looking for there. So, but Stephen A. Smith was talking to him, and I want you all to hear this. This is worth playing. This is worth playing. This is worth reviewing. You all can mark this. As a matter of fact, I'll probably see about putting the link in there, but he talked to Rubin on the Rubin Report, and I want you to listen to this. Go ahead. You can mark this down. Y'all are going to want to keep up with this. You're going to find out a few things.
Bit different than most. You have the black community. You have the white community, and sports intertwined with social commentary, more so than politics. I jumped at it.
Yeah.
It was never something that I ran from, because I'm a little bit different than most. You have the black community, you have the white community, and sometimes there's a divide there. One of the greatest women I've ever known was a white woman who happened to be my grandmother. And sometimes there's a divide there. One of the greatest women I've ever known was a white woman who happened to be my grandmother. And so my grandmother was a white woman who taught me what racism is and what racism looks like. And so a lot of times when I'm looking at white folks and you have folks that'll look at folks and they'll say, oh, the racist bastards, they don't get it, they don't understand, whatever. And sometimes I'm like, no, that's not what they're saying. They're talking about you.
Yeah.
They're not talking about black people, or they're talking about this issue. That doesn't mean they feel that way about that issue. And
they're not talking about black folks in general when they say nigga. They talking about you. So this is what his white grandmama taught him about race. She taught him about racism, and now we see what she taught him. This is not Jason Black talking. This is Stephen A. Smith from This Week doing this interview. This is him saying this, not me. This is not me going back 5 or 10 years. This is not AI. This is Stephen A. Smith in his own words telling you exactly where this come from and exactly what it is.
Bit different than most. You have the black community, you have the white community, and sometimes there's a divide there. One of the greatest women I've ever known was a white woman who happened to be my grandmother. And so my grandmother was a white woman who taught me what racism is and what racism looks like. And so a lot of times when I'm looking at white folks and you have folks that'll look at folks and they'll say, oh, the racist bastards, they don't get it, they don't understand, whatever. And sometimes I'm like, no, that's not what they're saying. They're talking about you.
Yeah.
They're not talking about black people, or they're talking about this issue. That doesn't mean they feel that way about that issue. And my ability to dissect and compartmentalize and not be ultra sensitive to every single syllable that comes out of somebody's mouth, I think puts me at a decisive advantage because I'm able to have dialogue with folks that may think differently than me, come from a different background, and actually see their point of view. So even when I disagree, I'm not put off or offended by it because I understand where they're coming from.
Oh, so he is congratulating himself for having sympathy for the positions of white supremacists. Because he goes on to talk about slavery and things like that, and politicians like Ron DeSantis who were defending slavery, and even the Reuben guy next to him. So yeah, I wanted you all to hear that for yourselves right here. I want you to hear that for yourselves so you can see exactly where that's coming from. It's not accidental. Folk like Dave Rubin sit up here and they bring folk on, and the Dave Rubins, while they get promoted, while YouTube and Google and Disney through ESPN, they pay coons like Stephen A. Smith millions and millions of dollars. They have to, because otherwise they wouldn't make a buck. I've told you now for decades, white supremacy understands the need and the necessity to finance its operatives. It's not because they make money. That's not the reason. You're going to have to fund them if you're going to be able to keep them viable. Now, the real issue is when you look behind Stephen A. Smith, how many black folk do you see saying, oh, I agree with him. Stephen A. Smith is a joke and a clown and a pariah among black people. So he's not speaking for black folk nor with black folk. He doesn't show up anywhere and have black support or a black following. So you cannot be paying him or promoting him or employing him at ESPN because of black folk. That's not the reason, because he has no black support. He gets clowned exclusively by black people. So that's not the reason you're paying him, and that's not the reason you're employing him, because you can't take him anywhere where black folk are not going to throw rotten fruit at him. So what's your real reason for having him? This part right here. Well, see what it is. My folk here, I was raised by a white woman. She's ain't no racism. I see it better than y'all's. So Stephen A. Smith can afford to be a social loss leader. He's the guy they squander profits on in the hopes that maybe we'll peel off a few black folk. And those clowns will be thinking that the election of Donald Trump means, see, Stephen A. Smith is effective. And it's anything but that. Anything but that. So now you've heard it directly from the horse's mouth, or the other end. Or the other end of the horse's anatomy, as it were, there. Or the other end. So that was one thing there, but boy, oh boy, the biggest reason I'm doing tonight's program isn't because of Kevin Frazier. It's not even because of Stephen A. Smith. No, folks, Jason Whitlock. I know this is a waste of my airtime. It's squandering the precious breath of life. We are given but a finite moment, a glimpse in time in this universe. And to spend any of it on Jason Whitlock just seems like an infernal waste of the precious breath of life that we are each given. So believe me when I tell you that I am conflicted greatly to even stop and say this. I'm like Drake. When I get done, I might be mad that I gave this attention. I might be mad that I even stopped to give this attention when I get done with this. But boy, oh boy, I got to give you a little bit of a rejoinder here. For those of you who are aware of it, there's recently been a lawsuit filed by a hairdresser named Nushin Faraji. She worked at Fox Sports Net. She's filed a lawsuit. She filed a lawsuit really because of this guy, Charlie Dixon. He's vice president over there at Fox Sports Net and long-time skirt chaser. Well, in her lawsuit, the majority of the lawsuit, which I paid for it, downloaded it, read it on air on my other YouTube channel, the majority of it actually dealt with Joy Taylor, the woman over there on the left. Joy Taylor, who has the sports IQ of a grapefruit. However, Joy Taylor acquires employment not because of her sports skills. And the hairdresser filed a lawsuit to say, yeah, every time you turn around, you don't see Joy Taylor's sports acumen, but you do see Joy Taylor's cleavage. And according to her lawsuit, Joy Taylor was giving Mr. Dixon there on the right, for the better part of years, exclusive access to said, well, I can't say exclusive access because she was married while she was sleeping with this dude. And then she got divorced because her husband found out she was sleeping with this dude. She gets engaged to Earl Watson, a professional athlete. He finds out and that she's still sleeping with this dude. And then Acho is out there sleeping with her. So, I mean, just everybody gets their turn with her. It's just, everybody gets their turn. It really is. Boy, she believes in supporting the team. And she doesn't want you to feel left out. So you can give her credit for that. Joy does not want anybody getting left out. She's like, there's no reason in the world that all of her other fellow co-workers should not get to enjoy what Mr. Dixon there has been having. Now, I don't know whether you want to follow behind him, but you'll have your opportunity if you want to. And there was a list of fellows who would. In any case, that's what the lawsuit, everybody latched on to the fact that Skip Bayless was the name in the lawsuit. And that she claimed, the hairdresser claimed that Skip offered her $1.5 million to have sex with her. What? Which apparently was some type of competition he was having in his own head against Shannon Sharpe. So he was upset. According to the hairdresser, Skip Bayless was angry because he told the hairdresser, you've been sleeping with Shannon Sharpe. And the hairdresser's like, no, I'm not sleeping with Shannon Sharpe. I'll give you $1.5 million. She turned it down. You're sleeping with him. I know you are. So according to the hairdresser, Skip just went off the deep end. He was ready to throw $1.5 million, I guess, to say that he could follow up behind Shannon Sharpe, or that any female Shannon could have, Skip could have. It was insane if the allegations are true, because they might not be true. So we'll see if she can actually substantiate them, but that's what the lawsuit says. So everybody latched on to Skip Bayless because of that $1.5 million stated in the lawsuit. In reality, the majority of the lawsuit was about the two people on your screen, primarily Charlie Dixon over there on the right and Joy Taylor. Here's the thing. All three of them are named specifically as defendants in the lawsuit. Damn! Skip Bayless is named as a defendant, yeah, but Joy Taylor is specifically named independently as a defendant as is Charlie Dixon. So the three of them, in addition to Fox Sports Net, were all named as defendants. So that lawsuit has been filed. Now we'll see how it works out. Whether they settle or whether it goes all the way or whether they beat the rap, who knows? In any case, I went through all that explanation to say that, well, a whole bunch of folk have been talking about this lately, including Jason Whitlock. Jason Whitlock has been talking about it because Jason was like, well, we had the show, him and Marcellus Wiley had the show, and he was like, they kind of moved us to bring Acho in there, and he's like, this kind of all makes sense now. It kind of all makes sense now. That's what Jason Whitlock is saying. It kind of all makes sense. At least that's what he's trying to say here. Now, all I'm going to say is, everyone, before I play this next part, I'm just going to warn you right now, if you're on medications or whatever, you might want to go ahead and back out right quick. You might not want to just start here. You might want to back out a little bit, because I'm warning you. Remember when I got Roland Martin last year and showed you this? When they lose their end, when they're on the back foot, they start saying crazy stuff. It's just like, they become brand new Negroes. Folks, you ain't going to believe what you're going to hear from Jason Whitlock. He's commenting about this case. I got video of him. He's commenting about the case with Marcellus Wiley. Him and Marcellus Wiley got together on his YouTube channel. We're talking about it. And I want you to listen to what they had to say. Fair use. By the way, fair use. All I can say here is brace yourselves, because Jason Whitlock, one of the most notorious coons ever, now that this lawsuit thing has come up, listen to him.
Next 6-7 months, the numbers all flowed our direction. We were having incredible success, and it was like Fox Sports is finally going to have an authentic hit show that Fox Sports put together. They didn't acquire The Herd, or they didn't acquire Skip and the First Take. This is their show, and this is what gave me confidence, like, they're fitting to jump behind. This is their show. It's different than everything else on TV. And according to what liberals say they want, it's a black show. It's having this kind of success. Yeah. And now I'm looking at things from I could see it with the booklet, and I can certainly see it from this lawsuit, that it was like, no, they're going to deconstruct this. They're not going to have a black show be the hottest thing at a network where they were paying the most money to Colin Cowherd and Skip Bayless.
What? Nigga, please.
What?
Nigga, please.
What? What?
You heard that correctly, folks. Jason Whitlock, of all people, Mr. Ain't No Racism, and this, Mr. Jason Whitlock is now telling you, well, the issue is we was a black show. And now, after all these years, since the lawsuit got filed, now I put it together. Why, they just didn't want a black show to succeed on the network. Jason Whitlock is the representative of the black show. The black show, y'all. Jason Whitlock is claiming to be our representative. You're hearing it with your own ears. You're watching it with your own eyes. Did you ever think you would live long enough to see both Elon Musk and Jason Whitlock scream racism in the same damn 30-day period? Did you ever think you'd live long enough to see this? The re-election of Donald Trump has made the world turn on its ear. Welcome to Bizarro World. It's upside down. Left is right, up is down. Jason Whitlock is telling you all that they didn't like our show because we was black. We was the black show. And now I get it. I didn't suspect it before, but since they didn't renew us here. they let me go. Oh, because I see now, they just didn't want the black men making as much as Skip Bayless and Colin Cowherd. That's what it is. People, of everything you heard here tonight, did you think that one was coming? Let me go ahead and roll that back one more time.
Yeah.
A hit show that Fox Sports put together, they didn't acquire The Herd, or they didn't acquire Skip and the First Take. This is their show, and this is what gave me confidence, like, oh, they're fitting to jump behind. This is their show. It's different than everything else on TV. And according to what liberals say they want, it's a black show. It's having this kind of success.
Yeah.
And now I'm looking at things from I could see it with the booklet, and I can certainly see it from this lawsuit, that it was like, oh no, they're going to deconstruct this. They're not going to have a black show be the hottest thing at a network where they were paying the most money to Colin Cowherd and Skip Bayless.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to play this next part because, in all honesty, I didn't watch their show. I don't watch TV, period. If I did watch TV, I'm damn sure not going to watch Jason Whitlock. So that's not going. I don't give a damn if they paying me. They'd have to pay me way more than Skip Bayless money to make me sit there and willfully watch this on a regular basis. So ain't going to happen. But I know a bunch of y'all did watch it. And I want to play this next part with Marcellus Wiley because I don't know how solid Marcellus is. I mean, being an athlete, they all shaky. So I don't know how solid he is. I don't know what his black credentials are. I don't know anything about that. But I did want to play this next part. Maybe you all, either in the comments during the program or, after it's been recorded and uploaded and everything, you can comment then. But this is what Marcellus says right after that. And you all who know them or watch them or whatever, you can decide whether or not he's being genuine.
Deconstruct this. They're not going to have a black show be the hottest thing at a network where they were paying the most money to Colin Cowherd and Skip Bayless.
Yeah.
I
get it. I get what I'm picking up what you're putting down. And I looked at it from a different perspective because I thought that they were just showing preference. Like you said, we've been in the industry too long. We were fighting uphill. We were fighting a headwind, what we were doing. We had a family-based show with an all-black cast from young to old, and we were authentic. The Colin Kaepernick saga, the BLM, like we just talked about it like we really saw it. We didn't have a stick. We weren't inauthentic, like you said. We weren't faking the funk. We were just talking for real. And that was working. And I always thought that maybe they just had a different preference. Like, hey, that is amazing. That's the best tasting burger I ever had. Unfortunately, this is an ice cream shop, and that's all we want to sell is ice cream. So I always took my removal, my departure as a preference. But reading that lawsuit was the first time, and it's crazy. Everybody always comes up to me all the time. I post comments, fans, man, they did you wrong. They did you wrong. And I could never put my finger on it. But if these allegations are true, now I look at preference as it actually was. It sounds like sabotage. And that's a different animal than preference. So
that's a little bit of feedback there from Marcellus Wiley on top of everything else. I can't let it go here. I can't let it go. There was an Asian fellow that he brought on. I don't know who this dude is. I don't know who this cat is, but there's an Asian fellow that Jason had brought on here also. And he wanted to follow up on what Jason Whitlock has said. He wanted to follow up on it, and boy, oh boy. All I can say is, okay, his name is Steve Kim, okay? I don't know who Steve Kim is, but anyway, he was talking to this dude here, and You can listen to what he had to say here. I don't know what his deal is. I don't know if he's sincere or not, but hear for yourselves what he says here.
Me, Marcellus, Uncle Jimmy, and Darnell, you're talking about Jim Jackson and LeVar Arrington and TJ Houshmandzadeh, Joel Klatt, Mark Schlereth, and
don't forget
you're
Matt
right.
Barnes and Steven Jackson. They were part
Matt
of it
Barnes,
too.
Steven Jackson. Kendrick Perkins came on the show. Yeah. Everybody did. I mean, it was
Chris Broussard, who you guys butted heads a couple
he came on
times.
once.
Okay, all right, well, one time. And look, not everyone's going to agree with each other. And it's interesting. You guys called it a black show. Here is the problem, why the executives did not like that black show. It wasn't minstrel enough. What?
Damn! What? I teach. And what? I teach. Welcome to Cookie.
Okay, folks, has Jason Whitlock shown up anywhere on this planet? Not minstrel enough. You got Jason Whitlock. Folks, how can you not be minstrel enough when you got Jason Whitlock on deck every day? Somebody, Mr. Kim, what is your definition of minstrel, sir? Literally the only thing that Jason Whitlock is missing is the face paint. I'm not going to answer the dancing jig because it ain't going to have. What do you have to do to be more minstrel than what minstrel element is Jason Whitlock missing? Show me the minstrel element that Jason Whitlock is missing on any day. He comes fully equipped all day, every day. Talking about a black show. How the hell is it a black show when Jason Whitlock is sitting right there? This is a black show. You're a black show with this ass over here? It wasn't minstrel enough. Minstrel enough? Enough. How much more do you need when Jason is on the dance floor?
Look, not everyone's going to agree with each other. And it's interesting. You guys called it a black show. Here is the problem, why the executives did not like that black show. It wasn't minstrel enough. If you guys would have came on with do-rags and skull caps, smoking a blunt, you guys would probably be on a lifetime contract. It may have been too serious.
All right, Mr. Kim has weighed in. All right, so Mr. Steve Kim has weighed in. Yes, sir. For those of you, I warned you all in advance. You can't say I didn't warn you. You can't say I didn't warn you. So yeah, Jason is like, the only reason the problem is you wasn't minstrel enough. You kept it too serious and y'all kept it too real. Okay. These are the people who can get corporate contracts to be on TV. This is who you can get to that. But folks, as bad as all that was, and right now, let me tell you, it's been mind-boggling, okay? We're in stroke territory here right now. It's mind-boggling, but boy, oh boy, not done just yet. One more clip I want to give you here from Jason Whitlock. One more I want to throw you here. Boy, oh boy, you've been warned in advance. I don't think you're ready for this. Matter of fact, I know you're not. But I just thought you should go ahead and hear from Jason Whitlock, who is letting all of us know that he was the secret sauce. And he was letting everybody know that he was giving them a little bit of warning about how things gonna go. Jason Whitlock, a.k.a. Love Doctor.
Have a legitimate complaint because the conceit of the show, as I told you when we got involved, I was like, look, Marcellus, you're in a great marriage. And I'm gonna keep it all the way real because that's what we do on this show. I was like, You're married to a black woman. He got these beautiful black kids, and again, I can't be careful. I'm just telling you truth, because I was always authentic with everybody. I was like, look, everybody kind of know that, you know, Whitlock like white girls.
Nigga, what?
Damn! Nigga, please.
Nigga, what?
Nigga, please.
Everybody know Jason like white girls. Okay, do the white girls like Jason? There's the real question. It's not a question of do you like white women. The better question is, by the way, Jason Whitlock, do the white women like you? I like white women. How many of them like you? This is the delusion, people. Everybody know Jason Whitlock like white women, so you're implying that you where all the fly white women are. Show me where all the dime white women are lined up, got pictures of Jason Whitlock on their social media timeline. I'll wait.
And deal with it.
Show me all the white girls on social media who have pictures of Jason Whitlock on their timeline. Show me the white women who put up Valentine's emojis and heart emojis for Jason Whitlock. Show me who. Show me where. I'll pay money to see this. Show me the white women who've gotten of all the options they have. You know, really, I wish Jason Whitlock was here. Oh, Becky, you're sure right. That's what we need. No. Tell Drake. Drake is okay and everything, but really, I could go for Jason Whitlock. Tell me who the hell that is.
I can't be careful. I'm just telling you truth, because I was always authentic with everybody. I was like, look, everybody kind of know that, you know, Whitlock like white girls. I don't need no brothers that are on that end. I want brothers that black women, black kids. And we're going to do a Cosby Show thing. Mm-hmm. And you're going to be the guy that's settled into a marriage and the little brother that's acting right. And I'm the big brother that kind of has some wisdom, but ain't never really bowed to that wisdom and was a little bit out of control.
This damn Prozac taking nigga. This turtle little dude here who talks all slow and recessive. I'm the wise one who a little out of control. The only place you're out of control is at the buffet. Cookie! Nom, 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 oh, nom, nom, nom. That's the only place in life you're out of control. The only thing out of control with you is your cholesterol. That's the only thing out of control in your life. Everything else is as boring as watching spinach grow. Oh, he would have to watch it grow because he damn sure ain't gonna watch it get eaten. So he can watch spinach grow, but he's not gonna watch spinach get consumed. Not at his house. Not even as a garnish. Trying to hold myself together over here, so yeah, I just wanted y'all to know that Jason Whitlock wanted you all to know that he's just discovered what racism is, but also to let you all know that, by the way, Jason loved the white women. And that was the only thing I thought when I heard that is, okay, Jason loves the white women. Do the white women love you? I would like to see who the females were at Fox or any other place for that matter. Fox, Krispy Kreme, Dollar General, you name the spot. Who are the white women trying to get at Jason Whitlock? Honey Boo Boo? Who are the white women trying to get at Jason Whitlock? A bunch of chicks on disability, probably. A bunch of chicks on disability with respirators, and now that I can see, but other than that, come on now. Betty White would have swerved him. Damn! Come on. There's hella white women in California need their bills paid. They got to weigh these options. I mean, damn, I need my bills paid, but damn, Jason Whitlock, damn, bills, damn, okay. It depends on her prospects. They ain't never going to get no better. So that was going on. And that's been going on. So yeah, a number of folks out there, man, things are coming down. They want to be black, but they only want to be black when convenient. They understand that enabling Donald Trump is now going to embolden a lot of their so-called white supremacist friends over there to tell them what they really think. And there's not really going to be a seat at the table for you. They know this. They know this. There's not going to be a seat at the table for you. Not at all. Not at all. So they're trying to hedge their bets. Jason might as well just go ahead and give it up. And Jason Whitlock is in a hell of a bind. I mean, you can't sit up here and go as hardcore coon as you have and then start yelling racism. You can't file a lawsuit, Jason. Jason Whitlock can't file a lawsuit. He can't do that and then yell racism. He can't do it. That's it, dude. You belong to the game. You gave all that up. So your little candy red microphone, I can't all see that nigga trying to eat it if he starts sleepwalking at night. He sees that candy red microphone there. Can you imagine what will happen if he does that? Okay, I hope he doesn't get up in the middle of the night sleepwalking and see that microphone. Oh boy. He might try to take a bite out of crime. All them little jagged teeth gone. So like I say, folks, they're trying to get their black cards back. I just showed you it isn't just one. They're saying silly things. They're saying crazy things. They're under stress right now. They realize the end is coming up here near. Now they're trying to come up with some excuses. Maybe I can throw a lawsuit here. They don't want to look up and have their houses burned down in California because they have no idea how they're going to get them rebuilt. Let me explain something to y'all, especially out there in California. California is finding out something right now that you found out in Florida and New Orleans. They have a very real situation where they may look up and the insurance companies just say, yeah, we're just not rebuilt. We're not paying nobody. Yeah. We know about your policies. We're not paying nobody. We're not paying any of you. We're just not going to pay you. So you're going to have to sue us, and we're just not going to pay you. We don't give a damn what the state says. We don't give a damn class action. We're not paying you. That's what they did in California after Hugo and Andrew. That's what they did in Louisiana after Hurricane Katrina and Rita. So they have a very real possibility of that happening in California. Very real possibility. So a whole bunch of folks, if they're looking real nervous right now, is because they've seen what happened everywhere else, and they're saying, damn, we could look up and the insurance company just tell us, we're just not going to pay. Yeah, there's too many of you. It costs too much. Yeah, we're just not paying. Now, here's the problem. The problem is most of your so-called Hollywood stars and celebrities, they're not as solid as y'all think. A lot of them bought these properties when they had their little run. So they bought a house in the hills, and basically that's their nest egg. The house is... They may get a little SAG pension, but the bottom line is they're not getting the big balling dollars or anything like that. It doesn't happen that way. So the house is their asset. And now that the house is burned down, yeah, they might be due a few $1 million, but only if you can get the insurance company to pay. Other than that, your millions of dollars of value is tied up in that home that's no longer a home. And you could be waiting years for the insurance company to pay you. You could be waiting years for that. Years. Even if the city of Los Angeles and the state of California allow you to start rebuilding in a reasonable amount of time, which is very, very suspect. Very suspect. Even if they allowed you to do that, you could be waiting years if you're waiting on the insurance company. If you can't pay that bill yourself, you could be waiting years for the insurance company to dole that money out to you. Where you gonna be for the next 5-6 years while they literally fight you in court every step of the way? Hell, you won't even be in court. They're just not gonna pay anything. So what are you going to do? What do you do when that happens? What do you do when that goes down? Are you ready and prepared for that? Because that's the part that's really going to throw you for a loop. I meant to play this last night, as a matter of fact. And it was Adam Carolla. He went on a rant about this. This is the clip I meant to play last night. I wanted you all to hear what he had to say here, because some of the right-wing extremists are thinking they're going to take some victory laps. Obviously, he's not interested in going back to Hollywood because he takes a shot at them. He just goes full frontal assault on them. But this is what Adam Carolla had to say.
Homes on the ocean side, the guys who lost their $20 million homes on the ocean side of PCH will be knee-deep in the permit process. They will be trying to pull permits when the guys in the Winnebagos will have been back for months before those guys ever get a permit. As a matter of fact, good fucking luck, because here's the deal. Alan Hamill and Suzanne Summers moved because they could not get a permit to rebuild their home of 40 years on the ocean on PCH, right? So here's what's going to happen. Let me just give you guys a little primer of what's going to happen. You know how Bill Maher seems real conservative now when he's like arguing with Jane Fonda about regulations, too many regulations, like strangling everything? Because remember, when Bill Maher tried to put solar in his house in Beverly Hills, that's when he turned against the government, because he saw what the government and the overreach of government and overregulation does. He got strangled. It took him 3 years to build a solar shack. He had a whole countdown on his show, day 1,000 since I've got my permit for my solar. He turned. Okay. The people who live in Malibu, who live in Santa Monica, who live in the Palisades, those are some of the most progressive blue voters in the world, or in the United States. They are a bastion of blue. So what those guys did is, all the people in the Palisades, I checked it out. It's about 80% blue, 80% progressive, 80% Democrat. Now, these pussies are all sitting around crying about Karen Bass, water pressure, how come the forest wasn't cleared of all the brush, what's happening with the infrastructure. You guys all voted for Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles. You all voted for Gavin Newsom. And now you fucking get what you get. Oh, now that your house is on fire, well, now you're thinking about something else. Now you want to know what's going on. What's going on around here? You didn't give a shit about what was going on when other people's houses were on fire, but now you care. So here's what's going to happen. All these people who were deep blue Democrats are now going to have to pull a permit to rebuild. And they're going to get the 28-year-old bitch from the Coastal Commission telling them to go fuck off. And then they're going to vote for Trump or whoever's Trumpian next. You see, they're going to get turned. They're going to get turned hard because, as I've always said, live in the rent control apartment in Santa Monica, fine, good. We know how you vote. Go deal with the city. Try to pull a permit. These are going to be thousands of homes, super wealthy people, and these people don't want to live in Van Nuys. They like it where they are. They love Malibu. They love the Palisades. They love Santa Monica. There's going to be a whole bunch of rich people, and they're going to go, I'm rebuilding, and I want to rebuild as fast as I can. And between the part where they go in to the planning commission and plan check and initially and try to pull a permit to the time the first load of lumber, the first load of 2x4s is dropped off on their lot where their house formerly stood, it's going to be 3 years. And 1,000 permits and 1,000 arguments and 1,000 discussions with the Coastal Commission, not to mention little tidbits that they didn't think about, like Carson Daly. You want a swimming pool? Yep. Got to be double hulled. Really? Yeah. Well, why? Well, what if water leaches out and gets into the groundwater table? Carson Daly had to build a swimming pool like a modern day oil tanker. Had to put like a double hold. That's all right. It'll just cost $500,000 for a swimming pool. Like that, they're going to be, when they start getting the regulation, they're going to go nuts. And when they start running into the bureaucracy and the red tape, they're going to start going nuts, and they're going to vote for Rick Caruso next time because they want to get. That's all Trump says is we're going to pull back the regulations. We're going to free people up. They're going to find out. They're going to get bit by their own snake. They're going to convert.
It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Let me explain to you why. You see, we don't get caught up in the lies and the distortion and the confusion and the illusion that so-called left-wingers are any different from so-called right-wingers, or so-called liberals are any different from so-called conservatives. When the rubber meets the road, they defend the same interests. And now that their interests have been threatened, it'll be very, very, on a mass scale, it'll be very interesting to see which end they come down on this. Now, some folks in the chat room asked about PCH, Pacific Coast Highway. If you haven't been to California, and if you haven't been out to Pacific Coast Highway, it's a beautiful area. Gorgeous area. It really is. PCH, Hollywood Hills, Santa Barbara. There's a reason that people pay as much money as they do. I've been all up through the hills and stuff, all up around there. Took a tour without permission around the Hollywood sign and all that. So all up in the mountains and stuff. Gorgeous area to be in. Los Angeles is like in a big fishbowl. So if you've never actually had a chance to tour the area, for folks who live in Los Angeles, you already know this, but for the rest of the country, Los Angeles is like in a fishbowl, and where downtown is really in the lower area of it. What I'm saying is, like, when you go up in the hills or the mountains, you can see all that on the horizon everywhere from downtown. You can see all of that from there. So when you go off into those areas, you're really kind of going uphill. So you're going into the hills. Some folks are in the mountains, but these other folks, they want to be close to downtown proper. Remember the old television city out there in Santa Barbara? If you ever watch CBS Price is Right and whatnot, when they talk about television city, they will always say San Bernardino, California. San Bernardino, which is like an hour outside of LA. So it's a lot of mountains, a lot of hills. The further away you get, the more mountains and hills you run into, actually. But what he's talking about, folks who want to be near the beach, near the ocean, near the Pacific Coast, near the highway. So they're gorgeous areas. They're not beautiful. They're gorgeous. There's a reason why you go out there and you got to have mills, periods. Folks got $40, $50 million houses on top of every other abomination of HOA you could possibly imagine. And they put all those rules into place specifically for the purposes of preventing the so-called riffraff from being able to get near them. Just like you have up in Wyoming right now, a place that most of you consider to be a wasteland. But even in Wyoming, specifically in places like Jackson Hole, they've got laws up there now that allow them to buy up whole acreages, and they're using them. They all use them for the same purpose, specifically to prevent other people from moving near them. Well, that's what you got in those areas in California. They did all that to make these exclusive, which is why up in those hills, all you see is one celebrity home after another celebrity home after another celebrity home. Because they all went up in there. A lot of them bought in back in the 80s. That's why you see a bunch of 80s people up there. So he says Suzanne Summers, Barbara Streisand, Billy Crystal, Steve Guttenberg. So these were people that's what I was saying before. These are people we all remember. Their heyday was the 80s. They ain't made no big money since the 80s. So that 80s money that they got, they took it and went and bought a big expensive house in those areas, and that's been a fantastic investment. It's been a fantastic investment if you could get one. Fantastic investment if you can keep the damn thing standing. So they've watched over time as their property value has skyrocketed, thus their personal value has skyrocketed. And I'm just letting you all know that, a lot of these folks you hadn't heard from in decades, and you hear they live in this place or that place. They bought back when you could still afford to be able to get in there. Back when you could still get in there. Now that's their nest egg. That's their life savings and stuff. And with this happening, we're going to see which way they turn, because remember, when these folks start changing their politics, they change them and flip-flop all the way. Please remember, California is the place that brought us Ronald Wilson Reagan. Damn! In case you all forgot, Ronald Reagan was the governor of California. And the truth of the matter is that you've only really got these densely populated islands in California of so-called blue. So there's Los Angeles, San Francisco, Oakland, and San Diego. For the most part, when you get outside of those four areas, for the most part, you really got a lot of conservative folk. That's what California is outside of those densely populated, those megalopolises there. You get outside of those, and you really got a bunch of folk like that. That's what you really got. So that tells you about what California is and what it will do. And if you got these folks back to the wall and they're protecting their financial interests, oh, they'll go along with the whole damn 9 yards. Do not tell yourself that California cannot flip red. Don't tell yourself that lie. It can happen. As a matter of fact, remember, it's disasters and crises that cause people to make radical changes quickly. You just witnessed it happen in a presidential cycle. We witnessed this happen after 9/11. We witnessed this happen after 9/11. Remember, the Republicans go on their worldwide campaign of conquest in the Middle East, and that situation went so badly that the nation elected its first black, in quotations, black president. That was such a crisis. Things were so bad that the country was willing to do anything other than continue doing what it was doing, and then things flipped. Nobody saw Barack Hussein Obama coming before 2007. Nobody saw that. Nobody was like, oh, that's coming. No, not before then. There were some rumblings, but it's only about that time. It's at the last minute, he comes swooping in. So crises creates the opportunity to make radical changes, and people get to hide behind that as their reason for making radical changes. So long as these people get what they want and to rebuild what they have and to keep the status quo where they've got it, oh yeah, and to ensure that it stays that way, you'll see them support all kinds of things when that happens. Now, about the permitting process, here's the thing for me. You kind of got yourselves in a weird little bind. You put those permitting processes in the way to prevent other people from being able to infringe on your territory. Now you need to go. You were hoping that house was going to be your castle till the day you died. Now you need to pull a new set of permits and get new sets of permissions to start rebuilding something that you never assumed you'd have to do. So you're either going to have to leave where you're at, assuming you can get the insurance company to even pay you, or you're going to have to finance it yourself. You're going to have to leave where you're at, or it's going to be years either which way it goes, unless California's government gives you an exemption. Now, that's the only way you get around this. And I had a caller who called in last night to talk about that. That's the only way you circumvent this, is if California's government is willing to give just you rich white folks in the hills an exemption. Just you rich white folk on the Pacific Highway, just you. In the event they're willing to give just you an exemption. Everybody else got to get back in line, but just you. You, however, we got a separate lane set up for you because we could not sit here and inconvenience you. And let me tell you, it can happen. What? Do not fool yourselves into believing that it can't. Remember what he said. I told y'all that last night. These are the donors. The Hollywood celebrities are the people that, for example, the Democrats depend on for star power. Kamala Harris was a dud. She couldn't get she couldn't get 5 hungry people to show up at a Golden Corral buffet. That's why she had to bring out celebrities. People came for the celebrities. The celebrities could fill up the stadium, and then Kamala Harris comes walking out as if people came there for her, and they didn't. has evidence about what happened on election day. But she needed to stay in good with the star power because she needs them to bring attention, so hopefully she can sponge some of it off. They've been doing this for a while. They still need that. They don't want the celebrity class to turn against them because a lot of them, they provide attention, but they also provide funds. They also provide money. And not just for one election. These are the folks who contribute money at the local level, the state level. They're the ones who keep the political apparatus in place. They're the ones who provide funding that keeps the political apparatus in place. The only people more important than the Hollywood celebrity class are the banking and finance class of folks who live out there in California. They're the only ones more important. They're the only ones more important. It's not accidental. So when you look around and you see this, it'll be interesting to see what happens, because if they are given preferential treatment, you're going to watch and witness as the rest of folk are going to look at them and say, hey, how the hell is it that we all got to pay all the permits and got to carry the freight, and you're giving exemptions to your rich friends over there? How will the Hollywood celebrity class respond to that? How are they going to respond? Are they going to respond by saying, well, everybody needs to have the same freedom of movement, we need to get rid of this stuff? Are they going to say that? Because please understand, when Adam Carolla is talking about your Coastal Commission, who put the Coastal Commission in place? These coastal commissions are put in place by the rich folk who live in those areas, specifically for the purposes of saying, okay, you can't build here. You're not allowed to be here unless the governmental official that we put into place gives you permission to be here. And we're the ones who tell them whether or not you can come here or not. So what are they going to do now that you've erected this bureaucratic apparatus in place? Now that you've erected that, what are you going to do now? What do you do now that you have that in place? Are you going to bypass it? Are you going to ignore it? Are you going to give yourselves an exemption and tell everybody else, they had exemptions for me, not for thee? What are you going to do now? It begs interesting questions, because you have to understand, for a lot of these Hollywood folk, do they give a damn about, if it comes down to it, where they have a choice between preserving themselves and preserving the politicians? Who are the celebrity class going to choose? Are they going to choose to preserve themselves and do what is in their best self-interest? Or are they going to choose to do what is in the politicians' best self-interest? Oh, they're going to say, we don't give a damn how badly this turns out for you. The Coastal Commission is going to give us an exemption. We are going to be given permits. We're going to be given all our permission. You're going to give us an exemption on everything, and we're going to get this rebuilt ASAP. And the folks who don't like it, we don't worry about the little people. What's going to happen if they go out there and say, we're not worried about the little people? I'm just giving you all a political heads up. If that occurs, oh man, I guess there's a reason that the Democrat establishment out there is shoving Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass out front. Because I think they realize no matter how this goes, it's a no-win situation. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, you're damned if you sit still and say nothing. Ain't that right, Karen Bass? You're damned no matter what you do. You're either going to upset your rich friends, upset the working class proletariat, upset the political class, upset the environment. This is going to go bad no matter what you do. This is going to be rough no matter what. What do you do? What do you do? How does this affect you politically? Will you be able to look forward to that going forward? So with everybody else talking about these other things, I've got my eye on the political fallout of it. Obviously, it's not a great thing, when you have an out of control fire situation like that. Although I do have to say one thing in particular. I've been saying now for 2 decades, California, California, California.
And deal with it, nigga.
California needs a wake-up call for some priorities. California needs a wake-up call. It's needed it for a while. California has needed a wake-up call to get the citizenry focused on their politicians and whether or not the priority really needs to be weed. Weed dispensaries in place of actual policies you can use. There's a whole lot going on, and they keep folks blinded and keep them stupid. And I think it's a great thing if something like this happens where now your whole focus is on the political class, your whole focus is on the politicians, and people do not have an appetite right now for politicians dodging cameras and avoiding accountability and not giving answers. Because you see, this is an issue that's going to take years to resolve. This will be going on for years. Like after the LA riots, you will be years dealing with this. The smoke is going to blot out the sky now for more days, and it's going to blot out the political landscape for years. And I say to you all, this is good.
What?
Oh, yes. This is good. This is good. This is exactly what we're looking for. This is good. Yes, this is the kind of thing that flips over the dice table. Ain't nobody gonna be able to pay attention to anything else. This is the kind of thing that does it. This is the kind of thing that makes folks stop in their tracks. And it needs to be prolonged. It can't be something that it just hit and then you get back to business as usual. No, it's something that hits. It disrupts every damn thing. It upsets every damn body. Yeah, that's exactly what you're looking for. You're looking for an event like that. Yeah. An event where it just drags on. No easy way out. No quick solutions. This thing just drags on. That's exactly what you need. That's exactly what you're looking for. That's exactly what you want to have. An event like this that just lingers. The fallout goes on for years. You're not concerned about what's happening on Instagram or Twitch or anything else like that. It's like the house done burned down. The whole damn block done burned down. It's done messed up things over here. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for that. You're looking for that on a widespread basis. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for that to occur. So people don't have any choice except to stare at what's happening to them. They don't have any choice but to watch it. They don't have any choice but to sit there and look at it. They can't do anything else. They're physically incapable of doing anything else. Now it puts you in a situation where folks are only talking about their needs. And they don't have a tolerance for folks sitting up here telling about what they can't do. What they can't do and they're not able to get done and throwing out excuses. There's not an appetite for that right now. The kind of thing that you're looking for, that's exactly what you want, where folks are going to stay focused on this like a laser beam and they're not going to talk about nothing else. Finally, time to get down to some real reasons and some real subjects and some real agenda items. Yeah, that's what you want to see. You want to see that. You want to see that. You want to see folks dealing with some real agenda items. Not the stuff they've been bamboozling people with before now. That's not what you're looking for. Not looking for that. Maxine Waters was talking to Chris Cuomo and whatnot. She was trying to explain as best she could. It wasn't going very well for her either, damn it, by the way. It wasn't going very well for her either. She was trying. It wasn't working out. She was trying and it wasn't working out. It's going to be a rough ride, people. It's going to be a rough ride from here on in. However, you might disagree. Therefore, we're going to go ahead and open up the Zoom for you here. We're going to go ahead and open up the Zoom. I'll give you all an opportunity to go ahead and weigh in on a few things here tonight. We've had a lot to cover here. Folks are trying to be black when convenient. There's all kinds of things happening here right now. Ice storms, wildfires, backsliding coons. What? 2025, I mean, we're less than 2 weeks in. Did you figure that 2025 was going to kick off like this? Did you figure that that was coming? Boy, and we're just 2 weeks in. Wonder what's coming up here next for you. Wonder what's coming up here next. We're going to go ahead and take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. Before I do, I want to thank everyone, and I do mean everybody who's contributed for tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. My man, Mr. Richburg, thank you very much for your support here. And the beat goes on. Yeah, an aspirin. No, forget aspirin, straight Valium. He's also gave to the Pepto-Bismol Fund. Yeah, with Jason Whitlock sitting up here causing havoc. Yeah, I could definitely use that as well. All right, we're going to go ahead and do that real quickly here. Very brief commercial, non-commercial break. When we come back, we'll take your calls and more. This is the Black Channel.
Visit MrBeTheTeacher.com. You can get a copy of his award-winning book, Guidelines for the Successful Student. While you're there, grab one of his newest tunes along with fun and educational lyric videos.
Never give up, don't worry. Never give up, study. In order to...
Times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6. 2
now swap names, he, she, they, and we. Simplify the satanic divides as the fathering guide. Money multiplies and shares of what they buy.
You can also acquire his tutoring services via varsitytutors.com or tutor.com. If you wish to speak to Steve Burgess directly, you can do so through MrBeTheTeacher.com.
The Honey Badger and the Mongoose is a children's story for the family of how a honey badger and mongoose fight an evil alliance of venomous cobra snakes and hyenas that overhauls the balance of the savannah. The Big Five. The honey badger demands reparations. Will the Big Five give the honey badger reparations? Can the evil alliance of cobras and hyenas be stopped? The best new price for the hard and soft cover is at www.thehoneyBadgerandthemongoose.com. You can also find this book at Amazon, Audible, and Kindle.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Body Butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slaveries and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening. We've gone ahead and opened up the Zoom for you here. Lot to cover, lot going on, lot happening here. Tonight, we've been talking about Negroes who want to become black when convenient. I may go ahead and replay that in a few moments here. So, Jason Whitlock, Stephen A. Smith, some of these other folk here. It's a madhouse out here, folks. It's a madhouse. Let me go ahead and see if I can jump over here on Zoom right quick. See if I can get over here on Zoom right quick and see if I can get Brandon up here on Zoom. Go ahead and see if we can get Brandon on Zoom. All right, Brandon, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
All right, Brandon, what's on your mind?
Yes, sir. I got a question for you. Being that, let me turn this TV off real quick. Being that California ran out of that water supply, do you believe that insurance can literally like try to get away with negligence from them and not actually have to pay that money?
Yes. That's part of the legal thing I was talking about there before, that if they can say that wasn't our fault. Remember, every city, municipality, and whatnot has to have a fire rating. And that determines your insurance rates, for those of you who are not aware of that. So that actually determines where your fire stations are built. So all of that goes into it. So when you have a modern city and whatnot, that determines where firehouses are built, where fire hydrants are installed, and all of those things are supposed to be in working order. So, yes, sir. When I talk about the legal aspect of it, you just hit the nail on the head. That's going to be a primary legal. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you right now, the insurance company, it would be malfeasance on their part if they didn't go into court and argue, hey, the fire hydrants wasn't working. So we shouldn't have to pay this much on account of the fact that the rates we gave were on the assumption that what you told us with the fire hydrants was correct. You said you were cutting back on funding the fire department. You didn't say you were turning off fire hydrants and hydrants wouldn't even be working. That's on you. So from our standpoint, we really ain't got to pay none of these. It's not going to pay. We don't have to just pay in the neighborhood with no fire hydrant. We ain't got to pay nothing. And I don't know if it'll work, but I do know that, yeah, they're going to argue that it would be malfeasance on their part if they didn't.
I think, brother, that they could probably push that all the way to the Supreme Court.
Oh, yeah. Like the Exxon Valdez, bro.
Yeah.
Remember, for those of you who don't remember, the Exxon de Valdez, Exxon fought that case for 25 years. Over half of the plaintiffs died. They fought that thing for 2 decades. So this here in California, oh yeah, it's more than worth. It'll cost them what, a quarter of what it would to pay them out. We'll just fight you in court. It'll cost us a hell of a whole lot less to do that, and see if you'll still be standing. The only thing that would probably trip them up is if the state of California takes the suit or something like that. But even then, it would still be in their best interest. Yeah, we'll just fight this all the way. What do we have to lose by stalling? What do we have to lose? Because in the meantime, if we hold you off for 10 years, I mean, think about this for a few moments. There was a film you all should go watch called Class Action with John Travolta, I think it was. But this is how these companies, those are companies, it was like a fictional General Motors. But the way these companies think, corporations, including insurance companies, it would be more worth it for us to fight you for the next 10 years because we're wagering that the state of California will not let you sit that long. And the state will come in and pay for all of this. And they'll get you back up and going. And by the time that happens, really there's no reason to sit here and talk to us about you. The state already took care of you. So we'll just pay out pennies on the dollar because if we hold you off long enough, the state will have to get you whole first. They'll have to take care of you first. So we'll just stall you. Dude, it's about to be a dirty ass game.
It's about to be dirty. I got one more question for you. I was happening to be doing some research on apartheid, and coming in and chatting with GPT, it states that we could basically do an apartheid the same way South Africa done it against Israel. But being that the United States ain't in the ICC, that they can't actually do nothing to them. However, they can make the ICC recognize it globally. And I was wondering what you think of us pumping apartheid with the ICC.
Dealing with international bodies is different and always has been different because remember, the United States is not a signatory to the Human Rights Commission. So they make up the rules as they go along. This has been one of the primary drivers of, insurrectionists in the Middle East, is that they're like, hey, there's no point in us going to the UN because the United States controls the damn UN. They make up the rules as they damn me go along. So what are we going to talk to you for? hey, let's get these suicide vests popping. And I'm not saying I'm endorsing it. What I'm saying is that when you sit here and say, we're not going to honor your rights,
all right,
it's like, okay, remember that can become a two-way door. I suggest you come talk to somebody before they decide to start making their own solutions. And they say, you know what? Yeah, there's a civil process for dealing with this. Yeah, civil ain't working. When you get folk to that point where their back is against the wall and they're like, yeah, there's civil, you're giving me a door, but there's no option behind that door. It's just a fake door. It doesn't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just go to the door and wait for assistance. There's nothing's on the other side of that door. Everybody's not going to play with you like that. So where the, quote, international quotient is concerned, this has been the whole reason, part of the reason why we have been trying to point out to folks that maybe we need to start delineating based on our lineage here because we don't have any international backup. It would be different if Nigeria was backing us. They aren't. It'd be different if Ghana was backing us. They aren't. It'd be different if there was some international nation state backing us. They're not. Israel gets what it does because it gets backup from America and Britain and Canada. They got other international nations that back them, that back that ethnic group. If we had that, then that would be an option too. China only brings up racism when they think it's useful to them to go wag their finger at white folks in America while they over there practicing their damn selves. What they're not doing is being a sponsor and backing us here. Now, that's what they're not doing. They're sending Chinese folk over here and giving them dollars and backing them. They're not backing us. So your idea works perfectly fine if you're Jewish or if you're Asian. But for us in particular, there's a hitch in it because we don't have the option that they do. So that's why we've been giving folks attention. Okay, damn the rest of y'all, let's go ahead and do this since you're not backing our play anyway. So, brother, if it's going to get done, we're going to have to do it here. That's a fake door over there. There's nothing behind it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate you, sir. Love the work that you do. Keep doing your thing, my brother.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Very good point. Very good call there. Very good call. Very good wake-up call to that. They're about to find out all the tricks of the trade in California. They're about to find out all the tricks of the trade. They're about to find out just how bad it can really be. They're about to find out just how dirty things can really get. They're about to find out that. And I'm not just talking about at the local level. I'm not just talking about that. I'm talking about all the way up. You want to talk about politics? Well, they're about to find out what that is. You want to talk about classism? They're about to find out what that is. What do you do when everybody needs something, but you got to pick and choose? What do you do? Because you can't free this up so everybody can get in. You can't do that one. You don't want that one to happen. And even if this were just a, quote, rich person's problem, it's like, wait a minute, are you about to give them a separate set of rules? Oh, man, it's going to get rough. It's going to get rough. If they shoot for it, it's going to get rough. All right, let's go ahead and get back over here. We got the Church of Black Power. What's on your mind, brother?
How you doing, Jason? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
It's great to speak with you. Let me first say that I really enjoyed your broadcast last night. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to actually catch it live. I wish I would have. But I did throw in some suggestions for the anti-Black hate crime bill as well.
Yeah, we're going to do that again. So I've gotten a lot of good feedback on that. I got a lot of good feedback on last night's program. I definitely want to do that again. I definitely want to, and I definitely will. So I got a lot of good feedback. Folks really like having the ability to weigh in on that. We didn't have a bunch of folks sitting up here grabbing the microphone and babbling on, so that was very nice. Thank y'all. I appreciate that. Folks kept it sweet and to the point and stuck to the rules. So when it rolls like that, it's very good. So I would love to do that for that and some other subjects. And I'm coming to some conclusions about some things. So yeah, I've gotten y'all's feedback about that. It's all been very positive, and I definitely want to do it again.
Well, I can't wait for it, to be honest with you. But I also wanted to let you know, especially as a California native, how correct you are. Basically, this is a priority check for California, especially with all the nonsense that's been going on, all the different bills that's being passed. I really feel like this is a priority check, and people are going to have to make a decision on whether they want to support the administration that's willing to support illegals, but not their own people. And to be honest with you, I've been talking to a lot of family out there, and they've been telling me the same things. Like they're having a lot of buyer's remorse, and unfortunately, I like you said, it's necessary for people to be able to keep a one thought mindset in getting things fixed for them. I did want to ask you though, what do you think would happen with the $25 million that Gavin Newsom called for to help the illegals with their legal defenses for when Trump gets into office? Do you think that would still be an issue, or do you think that he will try to reallocate that towards some situations to help Californians?
Brother, the last thing that Gavin Newsom needed right now was a natural catastrophe to just jump up from nowhere. Okay, for those of you who don't know, natural disasters typically have what they call a season. So me being from Louisiana, floods, we have flooding all the time. So there's no real flood season. It's just you in a flood plain. So if it starts raining, you can get it all year round. But when it comes to other things that are meteorological events, geological events, that tends to be different. So you have things like hurricane season, which also tends to run concurrent to tornado season. However, we've kind of had to realize that, hell, you had a spate of tornadoes in December. Hurricane season typically runs from April to about November, early November. Although it can sometimes stretch, but December is typically not either tornado nor hurricane season. So now you know what the seasons are, but we just had a bunch of tornadoes hit in December, a bunch of them. So it can happen. Fire season, the wildfire season in California usually is in January. January is usually not fire season. That's usually a springtime, summertime thing. Not in what is winter for the rest of us, because California doesn't have winter the way the rest of us do. It gets cool there, don't get me wrong, but they don't have it like us. So this is not fire season. It is now. It is now. And Gavin Newsom just said that. Well, typically this is not fire season, but we have to adapt to the fact that from now on, it's not really going to be a season. No, you're in a fire area. And what I'm saying is that no one expected that to occur. Karen Bass is off there in Ghana when this happens. Nobody saw this coming. They all thought the election is over and that the world was going to cater to them because, okay, the political season's over, so let me breathe so I can do some bull jive for my politics. And now reality has come crashing its head through the door. And they're not ready for it. These issues that you thought you could get away with and back talk about, what do you do when you're now going to have to argue, well, yes, it makes perfect sense for me to give millions to illegals and $1 billion to the homeless that we can't account for. Now, that's the real atrocity right there. Over $1 billion that they cannot account for how the hell it's been spent, if it's been spent, where it's been spent. We don't know what happened to it. That right there. But I got to tell you, brother, because I don't know where you live now, but if you live in California, I got to tell you, I've been to places that are coastal places. California and Florida are the worst offenders. I got to tell the truth. These are places where folks tend to pride themselves on, oh, we're a resort state like California, or we're a beachside celebrity state like California. We're a resort state like Florida or a beach state like California. And everybody wants to be part of the vibe, you know? They want to get their surfboards. They want to hang out on the beach. They want to get their bikinis. They want to go to Disney World. And meanwhile, the politicians are doing whatever. The corporations are doing whatever. And nobody pays attention until the whole damn world burns down. Or until things get so damn expensive you can't afford anything. And then the answers all are incredibly dysfunctional. It's also very difficult to cut budgets because the first thing is everybody wants you to cut budgets for everything except what they want.
Mm-hmm.
And you got a whole bunch of folk who want a bunch of bull jive, and they want everybody else to pay for theirs. Oh, don't pay for these other folk stuff over here. Pay for mine over here. Mm-hmm. And they don't want to have to deal with that. I'm going to tell you the truth. In California, I got to tell the truth, man. California, the reason why you have such a large homeless population is because California has cultivated such a large drug culture. The rest of us are victims of that because that mess spread out of California and went up to Washington, Colorado, and now it's gone across the rest of the country like a cancer. Okay, but you're the epicenter of it. And you're sitting there with a bunch of folk who are like, folks, you have two major places right now that y'all don't think about when you think about homeless. California's the number one place you think about homeless. You know where one of the major epicenters of homelessness is besides California? Hawaii. What? A lot of y'all don't think about that there. Hawaii. Hawaii is now becoming a major epicenter for homelessness. Well, why? The folk up there who live in Hawaii will tell you, you have a bunch of people coming from the lower 48. A bunch of them, they're coming on one-way plane tickets and they're coming to Hawaii because we have pretty much climate weather year-round. So this, quote, camping in public, and it's not camping, you're the little homeless nigga on the corner, but they're camping in public and they're not as worried about, like in Louisiana, it's deadly to be homeless down here unless you're down in New Orleans. That's why you have more homeless people in New Orleans, for example, than we do up here in Shreveport, because you're closer to the ocean. So New Orleans does not get the brutal temperatures and humidity that we get up here in Shreveport. It can be deadly up here. And I'm not saying that New Orleans is a walk in the park all the time either, but I've been in New Orleans in the summertime. It's totally different than what we have up here because you have that big ocean down there to help cool you off. Well, no wonder you have more homeless people down there. So from a climate standpoint, they can stand being, quote, homeless longer. Well, that's why you have so many of them in Southern California, not Northern California, Southern California. So in other words, your so-called homeless people are dysfunctional. They got issues, they got problems, and they don't feel like they have to address them because, well, I'm in a place where the elements are not going to kill me as readily as they will in other places. The elements won't kill me as readily. So Southern California, Hawaii, places where folks can camp out and hide out, and you're not dealing with it. So you're handing out needles and stuff and you're exacerbating the issue. I think that there's also a very good reason why they're doing it. It's a very devilish, devious reason. But you need poor people as much as you need the rich. And it's about continuing that dysfunction because folks capitalize off of it to a degree till it spills over and gets out of control, which is where you are now. And now you're spending money and, like I say, you can't put out the fires because of it. Politicians love a blind electorate. They love a distracted electorate. I said it before. They would be just as happy if only 4 people showed up to vote on election day. Damn 40 million. If only 4 of us showed up, they'd be much happier with that. Much happier. And what you got right now is unfortunately a wake-up call for the California culture, as it were. The ability to ignore that, it's like, you can't really ignore it like this. And they should have done that decades ago. You shouldn't have the gentrification issue. You shouldn't have these other problems going on. So I don't see them I see them really trying to hold on to that number that you said. They're going to try to hold on to it because the corporations are the ones that want the illegals here. But what they don't want is for the illegals to have leverage. So that's why the system is not broken. The system is engineered exactly the way they want it to. They can extract the labor and they can get Consuela to turn sex tricks and she's not a citizen. See, when they go to work at a corporation, you can't do that. You can do that with the housekeeper. Damn. Ain't that right, Governor Schwarzenegger? What? Oh, I ain't supposed to say that? Oh, I'm not supposed to say that? Oh, I wasn't supposed to say it like that, was I? No, brother, see, they're in a different world from you and me.
Facts.
When you think about that for a few moments, damn, it makes sense. Oh, yeah, by the way, New York City.
Auntie, chill.
By the way, New York City, you got housekeeping, nannies, domestic workers all over New York, your housekeepers, your nannies, mostly female, practically all female, from the Caribbean, primarily from the Caribbean. Got a few of them from Mexico. They usually don't get up that far, though, but primarily from the Caribbean, though. Am I saying too much? Okay. Everywhere they work, when them chicks get hired, everywhere they go, it's a white man who hired them. It's not a black person. It's not a Latino. It's a white man who hired them. Okay, just understand they gripping them butt cheeks too, so they got a reason for bringing them there, brother. There's a reason for it. When you take a look at New York City and all the so-called sex scandals involving your damn politicians there, why do you think that keeps going on? That's who you got. So I'm just letting you know, yeah, those numbers, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, brother. You got that, you got for homeless, you've got for so-called environmental funding, education, so-called education. You got a number of different things out there that are being used as slush funds that they've earmarked funds for. But if you don't know who's actually pushing these agendas, then you don't know why it is that such a seemingly crazy thing would be being pushed in the first place. Now you have something that should clear that off the board. It should. But what they're going to try to do in California is they're going to try to get the federal government to pay for it. So they're going to try to get the federal government to pay for the disaster part so they can keep their budget rolling as they already intended. Because they already put like $25 million to fight Donald Trump in court if he does something that they don't like. Meanwhile, half of Los Angeles is burning down. So just keep in mind, that's their plan. Now, Trump has already said he ain't going for it. He's already said, yeah, we're not gonna reimburse California so you can continue doing this kind of nonsense. We'll see if they stick to their guns on it. But I'm just letting you know, no, they do not intend to back off of those numbers. They don't intend to back off of that allocation of funds. Their plan is what they did the last time with the last wildfires. We're going to get the federal government to pay for it. Biden has already said we'll pay for it. But remember, he's going to be out of office here in a little over a week. We'll see if that actually goes through or not. But they're expecting the federal government to foot the bill so they can keep spending that money as usual.
Well, Jason, I'm not in California no more. I'm out in Houston. But my heart does go out to all my folks out in California, just because this is a situation that could have been avoided. And I hope that everyone looks at this situation and take heed of it and realize that if you're not voting or putting your own interests before everyone else's, your interests will also 100% be the last thing to be addressed.
Brother, you're absolutely correct there, because when you talk about the interest, we got to just keep it real. You from California, you moved to Houston, but we got to keep it a stack, bruh. Dudes out there in California, everybody wants to live their own version of the voluptuary life. Everybody wants to get a Latina chick so they can go pose on Instagram, or in California, actually get an Asian. They're fighting, stabbing each other over getting an Asian. And I'm just like, let me get some weed and some Asian. And bro, I got to call it like it is. You go down to downtown Los Angeles, 7th Street, Wilshire, 6th Street. We can go down the list if you want to. There in front of 7-Eleven. If y'all want to know the spot to go down there in front of 7-Eleven, Wilshire, downtown. But that's why he's laughing now. You know it. 7-Eleven, Wilshire, downtown Los Angeles. Y'all can go there tonight. They're going to be getting blunted up. They're going to be getting puffed up. They're just standing around in front of the place and whatnot. And I'm just like, if an Asian chick come by or whatever, that's the priority. And meanwhile, this other stuff is going on, but that's become the culture and the lifestyle. That's become the priorities doing that. And so when you and me talk about the illegals, they sitting here thinking, "Whoa, you trying to get the Asian chicks out of here? Hold on, wait a minute now. Hold on, so what am I gonna do on Friday night? Get a job. That's what you're gonna do on Friday night." But I'm just letting you know. So folks like you got up out of there because you're like, "Hey, I can't subsidize that no more." And I got a different list of priorities, but I got to call it for what it is. When you talk about those things and speak about that, brother, there's a whole bunch of folk who going to have to stop getting their hands dirty.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of them going to have to stop getting their hands dirty and stop partaking in that and start doing something different. It can't be about going downtown and looking for interracial sexual access. It can't be that. Or you can stick it like this if you want to. Because this is the last thing I want to say, because I know I'm going a little bit long here, but you've opened up so many good points. They don't want y'all in California.
What?
Now, let me be very, very clear. My second film, Gentrified, was really, by the way, in retrospect, I did not go nearly as far with that as I should have. In retrospect, that's a whole great, big, huge issue that really needs a mini series, not a documentary. They don't want y'all in California. If you go take a look at footage of the freeway in California back in the 60s and 70s, it looked like Shreveport. And I'm like, wow, this was really nice. It wasn't jam-packed with cars. I'm like, this is really nice. I see why y'all, Marilyn Monroe and the rest of them were fighting to get out here. This was nice. I bet you this was popping. Pacific Highway and everything else. I'll be damned, you can actually park. You can actually get somewhere.
That was actually one of the reasons why my grandfather moved out to California, because he's from Shreveport. and it reminded him so much of Shreveport that he wanted to move out there. So that's 100%.
And that when you see it back then, I'm like, that was what we had here. That's why most of the black folk from California from the South, period. But that's what it was like, and I'm like, that was nice. That was really, really nice. But the problem is everybody else heard that, and then they kept coming, and they kept coming and coming and coming. And over the last 40 years, you've just seen an avalanche of folks show up there. So yes, there's been a lot of economic opportunity in California. Entertainment opportunity has been a big economic engine, but there are too many of you. And I'm just telling you, as a person driving through Beverly Hills, if you're driving through Beverly Hills in a $150,000, $200,000 car, I know what they're feeling. They don't like all of y'all on Rodeo Drive. Especially when you're going out to Rodeo Drive, you make that left to go down where all the stores are, the Gucci, Armani stores and all that stuff on Rodeo Drive. Yeah, but the other thing is when you go that way and make that right, instead of making the left to go down Rodeo Drive, make the right. And that neighborhood over there, them folk don't want y'all there. There's too many of you. They've been there for decades. They remember when you could breathe when you walked around there. They literally, I've been telling folks forever now, they are trying to get rid of half of you. They want half of you gone. Half. So they're using regulations to strangle you out. Gentrification to strangle you out. Economic disenfranchisement to strangle you out. You're going to get up and, quote, leave on your own. You didn't leave on your damn own. You can't build any new housing. You have an outrageous need for housing, but you can't build any new ones. Yeah, there's too many of you here to begin with. Yep. So the whole idea is to force you all out. We're leaving and going to Texas. They're like, great, there's plenty of room down there for you. Or Florida or whatever. Brother, they want at least half of you out. New York City, same thing. Oh, yeah, and one more thing. It's working. One more thing. It's working. So just be aware. When they get done, that's what they want it to be. They're going to chase as many of them out Interstate 10 past San Bernardino. They're going to chase as many of them out there as they can, which is going to be a bit of a task because you have to have water to make cities and stuff. They're going to try to push as many of them out there as they can. And everybody else, they're just going to try to push them out the state. And that's going to be it. And California, when they get done, it will be half the people in Los Angeles, and it will just be the very rich and the people who work for them. And that's their goal. The very rich and the people. There'll be a few folks in between, but their ideal is the very rich, and then the rest of you are just the people who work for us. And we can actually drive on the freeways and get around and go downtown and poke our heads out the window. And isn't this very nice? And there's half the number of people. And by the way, when you think about it, yeah, a lack of congestion, that'd be nice. Gonna be hell for the rest of you, but yeah, it'd be nice for them. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight, brother. We appreciate that. Had to take advantage of an opportunity to go ahead and explain that to you all. We don't get a chance to do that very often, but for those of you who are not aware, same thing in Detroit. Hell, they've succeeded in Detroit. Damn. I have to do an update on Detroit. Detroit, they are not on their way to doing that in Detroit anymore. In Detroit, it's already done. They've already succeeded. Mayor Duggan, the Quicken Loans people, the Little Caesars people, man, and if Detroit messes around and gets a Super Bowl, what? Oh, y'all don't want to know what's going to happen in Detroit as far as value. If Detroit fool around and get a Super Bowl ring, you saw what happened in Tampa Bay. If Detroit messes around and gets a Super Bowl, you're going to have $10,000 a month lofts in downtown Detroit. Damn. Mark my words. Write it down. It happens every damn where. If Detroit bags a Super Bowl, you're going to have $10,000 a month lofts and luxury condos in downtown Detroit. Mark my words. Write it down. Bunch of folk in Detroit, like, yes. Hey, you have a view of Lion Stadium? And I'm thinking they say it's not, is it, I keep it, Ford Field. Think about that for a few moments. You get a Super Bowl, and you'll have an incredible view of Ford Field. Take a look at what happened to Tampa Bay when Brady made it title town. Mark my words, because they've already emptied out downtown Detroit, folks. They've already done it in downtown Detroit. It's already been done. Downtown Detroit, which is the prime real estate, it's already done. They've already cleared it out. Now all you have to do is incredibly increase. They're rebuilding the bridge into Canada. Forget about it, man. I'm just letting you know right now, they already cleared it out, and then from here on in, they push everybody outside of it, and now they're going to restrict who comes in. Now jack up the prices and restrict who comes in, and you will not let that number get above half what it was before. You can have 1 million people. Okay, you can get away with that. What you don't want is 3 or 4 million. Now that you don't want. You don't want that. So mark my words, in your so-called major metropolitan areas, you've done the job of building it up and everything. You brought the wealth to it. You got these skyscrapers, these beautiful buildings. And let me tell you, once again, I know what the view is in New York City overlooking Central Park, the Piano Building, Park Place and all that. I know what that view is. I got pictures of it. I can see why folks are paying $20 and $30 million for a condo or a penthouse overlooking Central Park. If you have not been there at night, 60 stories in the air, you don't know what it's like. Them people will pay that. It'll be half the number of people in your downtown area, but it'll be 5 times as much to live there. And it'll be 5 times as much to live there because the rich folk will be buying up all that real estate. You would think that with fewer people, prices would go down. No, in reality, with fewer people, prices will go up because every high-rise condo will be treated like a Bugatti. Since you moved out all the Ford Focus people, all the condo space now will be treated like a Bugatti. For those of you who don't know, those buildings that have those skinny scrapers and whatnot, the whole floor is just one condo. It's not 5 or 6 neighbors on one floor. It's you get your own floor. The only problem that they have is there's too damn many of you. They want to figure out how to get you the hell out the way. So we'll just strangle you on out of here. Now, we need you to still work for us, so we don't want to run you out completely, but what we do want to do is get you away from the places we want to be. And by the way, in New York, I talked about this a decade ago. When you go to Park Place, Madison Avenue at nighttime, it's a damn ghost town. It's a ghost town down there. You get near Times Square and whatnot, folks are running around. But other than that, you get these other places, the financial districts, ain't nothing going on down there. After it gets dark, that's it, y'all gone. And that's what it's going to be. If they have their druthers, that's what it'll be. Everywhere. And for now, they're sending you to Houston and they're sending you to Dallas. I got bad news for you there too, by the way. All right, we got Daryl here on Zoom. Daryl, what's on your mind?
How you doing, Jason? Good evening. Thank you for having me on the broadcast tonight. Jason, you've been on point with everything you've been saying. Oh my gosh. You talked about this black wake-up call, and boy, they're getting it. They're getting it. And they're tethering themselves to death, and then when they tether themselves to death, they turn around and try and want to be black when convenient. And that ain't helping you. And see, we're staying 10 toes down on what we're doing, and they seeing that. And all of a sudden, when they get attacked, they turn around and say, well, I'm black now. Well, you wanted to be white, playing the black card. And that ain't working, and it ain't never worked for them. And everything we've done so far has been on point, straight up, staying on code with it and doing what we're supposed to do. And they have seen that time and time again, but they still keep on going after it.
Well, the difference now is that we get to document it.
That's right.
It used to be before you had to have some firebrand, and there never were because you couldn't get hired for that. We can document this ourselves now, and that makes a bad situation We
Yes,
don't
it
have to
does.
wait for some corporation to do it. We're documenting that. And it's like, oh, dude, you on the record with that. You can't walk this backwards.
No, you can't.
Jason Whitlock is not, Jason Whitlock trying to scream racism in Fox Sports. They already know, hey, nigga, you ain't got no black support. They're not going to back you. Candace Owens. Candace Owens can't say nothing to the Daily Wire. Maybe you ain't got no, don't talk about racism. You ain't got no black support. That's why they hired your little candy ass. You ain't got no black support. So Ben Shapiro and the rest of them know, baby, we can be as racist as we want to be. Black folk ain't going to stand for you. She had a whole Jewish rabbi sit there and say, I played it during this broadcast. That Jewish rabbi sat there and told her, you have no black support. He didn't have a problem talking to her however. He told her to her face, you have no black support. Black support like you, black people like you less than I do. And he knew he could say it and get away with it because he's telling the damn truth.
Yes, he is.
Deal with it, nigga.
That's it. To the facts, Jason, to the facts. Well, again, it's just to a point where they just don't understand that they ain't got a leg to stand on and a pot to piss in over the window, throw it out of. And that's it. We're not controlled by none of that stuff. We're doing it 10 toes down, doing our thing, and we can control the narrative any kind of way we want to control it. Bottom line. Thank you much, Jason.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We appreciate that. Yeah, like I say, that black one convenient thing is going to come back to bite you. Going to come back to bite you. It's not going to go as swimmingly as you tell yourself. Let me go ahead and get Amari here on Zoom. Amari, what's on your mind?
B1, Brother Jason Black, thank you for having me on. Great program as usual. This ties into the subject matter, and this also ties into the broadcast from a couple of weekends ago about tethers, FBAs, and unity. It's some past events, but speaking of black folks trying to get their black card back, Israel Adesanya, the former UFC middleweight champion, I think he would, if anyone wants to doubt your analysis of the rift between FBAs and tethers and the difference between tethers and on-code black folks in the diaspora, I really suggest that they pay attention to Israel Adesanya's career over the last couple of years. In particular, the last two fights that he had with fighters that could be described as suspected white supremacists. Now, Israel Adesanya had fought white male fighters before, but we all know that not all white people aren't white supremacists, and the white fighters that he did fight didn't seem to be showing those behavioral those behavioral traits. The Robert Whitaker, for example, I'm thinking of. Robert Whitaker is a white skin, I suppose Maori descended New Zealander who lives in Australia. So Israel, fought Whitaker twice, wiped the floor with him. But when he fought one Sean Strickland, who admittedly, by his own admission, is a former openly subscribed white supremacist, and one Dricus du Plessis, the South African-born Boer and suspected white supremacist who outrageously claimed that he was going to be the first African UFC champion, you'll see that when Israel went into those fights, he was mentally compromised. You could tell when Adesanya went, he was mentally compromised going to both of those fights. The same swag and the same arrogance and the same confidence some justifiably confidence that he had in his previous fights, including one against the current light heavyweight champion, Alex Pereira, who had beaten him 3 times before. Adesanya didn't have that same, that visibly mental crack in his armor when he fought Alex Pereira or when he fought people like Robert Whitaker. But when he fought people who more or less let their suspected white supremacist views out, white men in particular, he seemed to mentally crumble. And then, of course,
John Jones, these are guys who haven't had support for a while. And it's the kind of thing that weighs on you over time. It never comes at you from the beginning. That's the thing that folks, bootlicks and people like that don't understand. When they're chasing white approval, chasing that check or whatever, you're expecting you're going to get walloped at the beginning. And that's not the way it happens. You get walloped on the end. You get walloped after you get the first check. You get the first check, you grab that one, you're flying high, you got enough money where you think you're separated from the black experience or whatever. And it's all good until the other shoe drops. Well, Jason, what's the other shoe? The other shoe is the first damn time you get into trouble. And what they don't understand is that they tell themselves, well, as long as I don't do X, Y, Z, I won't get into trouble. What you disregard is the fact that, yeah, trouble can sometimes spontaneously happen, or trouble can be engineered and brought to you. So when it's your time, if they're ready to go ahead and do that. So in their cases, like I say, if they got something at the front end and they let themselves get brainwashed and they wanted to tell themselves they've graduated and escaped blackness, it's all fun and games until the check comes due and when they're ready to make that other move. So, you know, you can't be out here. You make a good point about fighting sports. You can't really be out here in fighting sports and you don't have any ethnic support. You can't do that. Your white fighters, Conor McGregor, you know, your Mexican fighters, your Brazilian fighters, your Colombian fighters, your German fighters, your British fighters. You can't really be out here and you solo. You can't do that. You can try it, but that doesn't really work for you. Notice that the rest of these folks don't do that. That's important.
And by the way, Conor McGregor, he's been convicted of rape in Ireland. And he is, if you go to the UFC website right now, if you have your phone and the ESPN app, Conor McGregor is still front and center of the thumbnail of the UFC. While Israel Adesanya, the two-time middleweight champion, the only two-time middleweight champion in UFC history, he was been pulled from the thumbnail. He's been pulled from the main ESPN UFC thumbnail. So they're still marketing Conor McGregor. John Jones has been gone. But Conor McGregor is still front and center along with several current, no, I
mean, that's the brand. And when it comes to lending for the brand of that and whatnot, they already have decided who that's going to be. And if they do shift it over, they're going to shift it over to another white man. I mean, with Deontay Wilder, you saw him knock Tyson Fury smooth slap the hell out. And then get your ass back up, Tyson. Stand up, hurry up. Because that's what they want to do. And then the only person that they were going to hand that off to was going to be another white man. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. That's the only thing they were going to do is hand them off to another white man. And that's exactly what they did. That's exactly what they did. If you're gonna have to drop the belt, they're gonna drop it to somebody else. And then even if you want to cry foul, you're gonna have to cry it the right way. Now, Deontay Wilder, Deontay got support because Deontay was calling out white supremacy beforehand. So that's why Deontay got our backup, because Deontay was calling out white supremacy beforehand. He was calling out beforehand. He was speaking on it beforehand. He was yelling at it on the camera beforehand. So we gave him that. The rest of these folk out here is like, okay, you want to be a free agent? I'm flying solo. It's like, all right. They don't see no racism. Okay. We'll see how that goes for you, partner. We'll see how that goes for you. Yeah, folks are trying to be black when convenient. When that doesn't work, they're going to get real quiet. Do you all realize how many folks have been run off the damn internet here, man? They can't even show themselves online. They can't even speak. Do you realize that? When they try to come back and cash in their black card and realize it's been revoked, they just slither off. They disappear. They slink away. Their mental health deteriorates. Boy, they go find religion. All kinds of things go on, man, when it breaks them down. You're in a rough shape. You're in a bad spot. When you become a pariah like that, then you're in a rough shape and a bad spot. You start looking all crazy. You start looking all bug-eyed. When Candace Owens' card gets punched. Damn! Oh, man, can y'all imagine what it's going to be like when Candace Owens gets her card punched? Oh, when Zaddy has enough of that slick mouth. Because Zaddy's daddy already don't like her, but when Zaddy gets enough of that slick mouth, when he gets enough of that, oh, when he starts looking for something that's half her age, oh man, the downfall will be epic. Believe me, the downfall will be epic. Oh, man. If Candace fool around and wait till she get close to 50, because old boy money gonna be straight regardless, and he drops her and he goes get something that's 25 years old, she thinks she's gonna go online and flame him. She's going to try to, I'm telling y'all, when it does happen, she thinks she's going to go online and get white support. She thinks she's going to get white women to back her up. I was faithful to my husband and everything. But some men, they just don't value what that is. That's the problem. They don't value having a good woman there. And that's the problem with the day we live in. And he also was watching pornography. And I hate to tell people this, but he was racist. I mean, he would just say little things to me. He was racist to me. Oh, can you imagine what that'll be? Can you imagine? In the chat room, Chantel. Let me go ahead and get Chantel up here on Zoom. Chantel, I took the link down here. I'll throw it back up one time real quick here. Let me go ahead and get Chantel on Zoom. She is asking why the, quote, hate on Candace Owens. So, ma'am, I would like to have some details. Craig David, fill me in. I'd like to get some details. So, Chantel, do tell. I just want Chantel. I don't want anybody else. Everybody else go to sleep tonight. We're going to go ahead and take one more call here from Chantel since she says we're hating on Candace Owens. I need details. I require details. Hating on Candace Owens. How so? Details I must have. Anybody other than Chantel, I've already said nobody else other than her. She's the only person I want calling in. Everybody else go to sleep. That's the only one. So if it's not Chantel on Zoom, I am not interested in speaking to you. She's the only one we're going to talk to. So all the ADHD kids, take the night off. All the ADHD kids, take the night off. We're only looking for Chantel here. Let me go ahead and on Zoom, I just need you to make sure you have your camera and your microphone turned on for me here. You got 5 seconds to take care of that. Otherwise, we go in a different direction here. Okay, I'm not really sure what you are doing here, dude. You don't look like Chantel. Now, who are you? You're not Chantel. Okay, Chantel needs to turn her camera on so we can make sure it's Chantel. Okay, I'm going to give you about 4 more seconds here, ma'am. We're not playing no games here tonight. The only person who'll see you is me. Okay, there you go, Chantel. Aren't you a dime? Okay, Chantel, if you don't get your camera situation straight, and it says your bandwidth is real low, so she's defending Candace Owens and can't afford the internet connection. What is going on, Chantel?
You can see me?
No, ma'am, and you already know that. Turn that filter off, ma'am. That blurring thing you got, that's what's messing you up right there. You need to turn it off.
Tell her come help me.
Chantel, how old are you, ma'am?
You have me? I'm 49.
Okay, I'm about to say, do we need to bring the grandkids on so they can help you with that? It's just, I'm trying to help.
Yeah.
Okay.
She coming, my daughter.
Okay, Chantel, and why is it you think that, okay, y'all, you and your daughter look the same? That is definitely your daughter. That's for certain. That
okay,
is definitely your daughter. I definitely understand that right there. Okay.
I love Candace, and she's honest.
What do you love about Candace?
Because she's honest.
She's honest about what?
A lot of things. I watch her every day.
Name three things that she is, quote, honest about.
She's honest about the government for one. She apologizes when she's wrong. And
she's never apologized for defending white supremacy and being wrong about that, ma'am.
Oh, no, I don't agree with her on that, but I agree with her on a lot of things except that I have.
Okay, how is she acceptable once you're defending white supremacy and attacking black people? Tell me exactly how it is you're listening to anything else she has to say beyond that. You can tap your fingers. We waiting. Okay, all I can say, y'all, is I will let this janky internet connection speak for IQ.
I don't know. I guess it's just certain things that she say. It's like reading the Bible. It's like
are you comparing Candace Owens to the Bible? Are you really doing that? Are you comparing Candace Owens to the Bible?
Like her because she's honest. She be upfront about a lot of stuff.
I'm gonna let this janky internet connection speak for her social enlightenment, y'all. Where do you live at, Chantel?
No, I'm not comparing her to the Bible. I just said when you read the Bible, you have to distinguish between fake and real.
Okay, now you're comparing her to the Bible because you're saying you have to distinguish between fake and real. Everything she says is
I'm
fake.
a truck driver.
I can imagine. Where you live at, Chantel?
I guess some of it is.
Okay, y'all. She is calling me from her track phone at the back of her Peterbilt.
Sometimes it seems like she's just basically biting on white supremacy. I'm on my iPad.
Now, baby, it sounds like you stealing your neighbor's. It sounds like you're stealing your neighbor's cable, is what it sounds like. It sounds like you are stealing your neighbor's cable. So I guess she's hoping for a zaddy to come Calgon take her away so she can get a faithful internet connection for once. Well, she said, I'm riding with Candace, so hopefully there's a white man in my future who will take care of me and these kids and this Wi-Fi connection. If I can get that, loud, make the coney bread. All right, I can't take that phone anymore, but I will let that call speak for the intellect of a Candace Owens supporter. I couldn't have said it better. This is why we need the internet today, because Stephen A. Smith would not have done what I just did. Coons of a feather flock together. Joy Reid never would have done what I just did. So once you actually hear these people, when you read them in a chat room, you don't actually know the level of intellect you're dealing with. You get them on the phone for about 4 seconds. Why do you support Candace Owens? Because she good and she right and I agrees. Okay. Oh, that explains so much. Yeah, as soon as you said that first sentence, that explains so much. Oh, it does. That's all I needed to hear. I'm going to take one more call here. This will be the last one here tonight. Let me take one more. I got Vanessa here on Zoom. Let me see if I can get Vanessa here on Zoom. Vanessa, pick up your phone, please. Don't have all evening here. I'll give you about 5 seconds. Otherwise, we got to move on. So, Vanessa, I can give you 5 seconds, and then we have to go, Vanessa. So, you have 5 seconds. You have 2 seconds, Vanessa. Or else we got to go here. Okay, Vanessa has decided she is done for the evening. So that is it for her. Yeah, buddy, when y'all actually hear these things, it all makes sense, doesn't it? You hear that stuff as soon as everybody in here, as soon as you heard her voice, you thought you were about to hear, some Malika Andrews chick or something like that. No. I was wondering, I like Candace. She's right, and she is cute, and she is knowledgeable. Oh, that white man, I don't necessarily agree with that, but I just kind of overlooked that. It's like the Bible. I listen to everything else she say. The fact that she hates black people and she loves white supremacists, I don't let that really bother me. I just kind of ignore that part right there. I don't let that part bother me. Really? I just listen to the rest of it there. I don't let that bother me. Really? Okay. And now, if a black man tells her that black women are messed up, oh, she gonna be like, oh, you let a black man do that? She gonna be like, I don't listen to nothing that nigga say. Everything he say just stupid. That man might have the damn cure for cancer. He could have the cure for cancer, epilepsy, and the gout. And she'll be like, nothing that nigga say right. I don't want to be, yeah, I mean, he say some good things, but he wrong about it. She would throw out every damn thing he got to say after that. She would pay it no mind. She would say this is ridiculous. I'm not listening to nothing he got to say. Candace Owens, well, you know, you got to eat the meat and throw out the bone. All right. Got to eat the meat and throw out the bone. You let a black man try that, she'll be the first one of, this why white men's is winning. Y'all don't be supporting your women's. Okay, but what about all the good stuff I said? That don't outweigh what you done did. But Candace Owens, well, you know, it's just, Yes, she had her bonnet on, by the way. I ain't roasting you, girl. I just want everybody to have the picture. She had her bonnet on, so it's... For some strange reason, I imagine she goes to Walmart in her PJs. Oh, I can see her going to Walmart in her PJs. She might go in a damn duster. What? Oh, I can see her going to Walmart in her PJs. I can see her going to Walmart in a onesie.
Auntie, chill.
I can see her showing up at Walmart with her bonnet and a Hello Kitty onesie. Not even just pajamas. She coming through the parking lot in a onesie. Talking about she loved Candace Owens. That's all right. I don't have proof of this, but for some reason I feel confident. I feel confident. She says she's married. Oh boy. Oh boy, he got some splendid. Brother, you never did get your money right, did you? Damn! Oh, she says she's married. And that brother never did get his money quite right. He been out, he worked for the city, he worked for sanitation, he worked for the man over there at the cleaning company, you know, and he did some Uber Eats and Uber Drinks, and just, yeah, brother, he never really got that money right. He just been trying to hold off that child support now for the last 15 years. He just trying to keep them bills down. It's just like, Jason, I mean, gotta do what you gotta do, Jason. Just, all right, brother, I ain't hating on you, bro. I ain't hating on you. I'm not hating on you. Well, Jason, I had to get in where I fit in, bro. The system against me. All right. I understand. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we're here. If you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, go check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work, blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. I want to thank everyone, and I do mean everybody who's contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Shout out here to my man, Mr. Ocam21, Muffy, James Mitchell, Mouse, new member here on the program. We appreciate that as well. Thank you to everyone who contributes to tonight's program. And this concludes this broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, Black is the future, and the future is uncompromised.